if I want to show you a lacteal. Remember, a lacteal is a lymph vessel. The thing I don't like about this one, I don't know, hard to distinguish. I like looking at the layers on the other one. But I guess from here to here is the mucosa. Here's the epithelial cells, here's the lamina propria, here's the muscularis mucosa. This is the capillary coming in, leaving as hepatic portal venule. This is the lacteal, taking chylomicrons, which are fats. So they go into the submucosa, and then they go into the muscularis externa, and then the serosal layer. I like the other thing to look at the other things, but I like this for the lacteal. That's clearly a lacteal. This is showing you a crypt. In addition to having villi, you also have crypts on the mucosa. Again, crypts and villi increase potential surface area. Placae circularis increase surface area. Microvilli help increase surface area. You can see that this is a liver and a pancreas and the duodenum. This here is the gallbladder. This is the cystic duct. A right hepatic duct, a left hepatic duct, common hepatic duct. Where the common hepatic duct meets with the cystic duct, this becomes the common bile duct. The common bile duct meets with the main pancreatic duct, comes out the duodenal papillae. So the functional unit here of the liver is seen as these hexagonal lobules. So here is a hexagonal lobule. At the corner of each lobule, there are three structures. The venous structure is hepatic portal venule. This is hepatic arterial. And this here is a bile duct. Those are the three structures found at the corners of the hexagons. In the center is the central vein. So if we take a close-up here, we'll see hepatic portal venule, hepatic arterial. The blood goes from the arterial and the portal vein, percolates through the sinuses. Material is pulled out and used by the hepatocytes. They might dump some into the bile canaliculi to go out the bile ductule. Bile duct, hepatic portal vein, hepatic arterial. What the hepatocytes make or don't use continues out the central vein. So that's this model. This is the spleen. I probably won't ask you that because we're not doing the spleen in this thing. But this is the pancreas. It says it's 99% acinar cells. Acinar cells have exocrine function. They secrete their secretions out the apical surface of the epithelial cells into ducts. And this is that main pancreatic duct that handles pancreatic secretion. mainly bicarbonates and all of those acids. The proteases, the amylase, the lipase, the nucleases. They come here. They meet up, the main pancreatic duct. I'm not going to ask you about the accessory duct of Santorini. This is the main pancreatic duct, sometimes called the duct of Wirsung. The main pancreatic duct meets up with the main bile duct. That's the main bile duct. The two of them come together at a widening called the hepatopancreatic ampulla. From there, they exit. Let me get the other one. This one's kind of black. Let's see, it looks like people probably wrote on it. Probably people like me, I don't know. Actually, no, I don't use pens extended. Right here, can you see that little black hole? That's your major duodenal papillae. So if I point to this hole, it's number 4 on here. If I point to that hole, what is that? You can say, right around there, there's a hepatopancreatic sphincter. So you can say the sphincter or the sphincter of Oddi, but major duodenal papillae is what that is. And if you look at these folds on here, these aren't villi. The folds we see here are not from mucosa, they're submucosal folds. In the book, it shows you again to increase surface area. If you cut the intestines open, you don't even need a microscope. You can see the submucosa here comes up. Now, off of the submucosa, if you take a microscope, you'll see there's also villi. So, plaque circularis increases surface area. It's submucosal folds that give more time for the digestive food and time to be acted upon and absorbed. On top of that, they go through villi, which is mucosal folds. And if you had an electron microscope and you took one of these cells out and looked at it, they have microvilli. Now, I used the slides and I put up something like this. Don't say microvilli, that's wrong. I can't see microvilli on this. What I can see is a big villi with columnar cells. If I had an electron microscope, I might be able to get in and see microvilli here, but I can't see it here. So if we look at, oh wait, wrong thing. Oh, never mind, this is stomach. I'll show that later then, what it might look like on there. So I can see plaque circularis here. If I look under the microscope, I'll be able to see villi. They took away half of it on this diagram. They don't have the stomach. But the omentum comes down like an apron and comes back up, and it attaches to the transverse colon here. So you can see all the fat with it. Now, remember I told you about the small intestines. Parts of it are within the peritoneal cavity. But think of the peritoneal cavity as like wallpaper. So you come in, you wallpaper this room. The guy's really sloppy, so he wallpapers this. He wallpapers this. This will be behind the wallpaper. This is then retroperitoneal. That's behind the wallpaper. It's retroperitoneal. Now, in your peritoneum, the blood supply and spine are back there. if I'm a loop of bowel standing in here, how am I going to get my blood supply and my nerves? Well, the wallpaperer came like this, put two edges of parietal peritoneum together, and the blood and nerves are sandwiched in there. That's mesentery. A double layer of serosal membrane with blood and nerves is sandwiched in there, comes from behind, and wraps around me, a loop of bowel. So I'm suspended by this. I can't go too far to either side because the wallpaper's holding me. The mesentery is holding me. And I get my nerves and blood supply through that mesentery. So if I was to pull away the small intestine, the membrane they're showing us here is mesentery. They might say mesocolon because it looks like it's going to the colon, but for me, mesentery. Now, when we did arteries, do you remember in the abdominal aorta, you had the celiac trunk, then you had the superior mesenteric artery. Then you had the renal arteries, and down there you had the inferior mesenteric arteries. These blood vessels that come off of here, they came from that mesenteric arteries. So that's why that one was pretty important. Those arteries wind up in the villi and absorb, they bring oxygen to the cells, but they absorb the nutrients through the capillaries. I can use this model. What's the tube at the left, your right-hand side on the screen? What passageway is coming that's entering the stomach?
Esophagus.
On the right over here. What is this?
Esophagus.
What? Esophagus? Yes. This is the esophagus. This would be the lower esophageal sphincter. This region, if I put a piece of tape here and said, what region of the stomach is this? That's the cardia. If I put a piece of tape up here, what region of the stomach is this? This is the fundus. If I put a piece of tape anywhere here, what region of the stomach? That's the body. And where it makes the turn, it's called the antrum, it's all the pyloric region. This is the pyloric sphincter. So when chyme exits here, what's the first part of the small intestines? What's this? Starts with a D? Duodenum. DJ-imus, duodenum jejunum ileum. So, esophagus into the cardia, the fundus, the body, the pylorus. The body is thrown, the mucosa is thrown into temporary folds, not permanent folds, temporary folds called rugae, R-U-G-A-E. When the stomach expands, they flatten out. When the stomach's empty, they're more prominent. So this is the lesser curvature of the stomach, and I believe in red, they're probably showing you the lesser omentum. So this suspends the stomach to the liver. Coming off the greater curvature, going down my abdomen like an apron and coming back up to the transverse colon, this is the start of the greater omentum. This is the one that has a whole bunch of fat on it. And if you drink a lot of beer, you tend to get this big beer belly.